Hey, welcome to Practicing Photography, where you get better one photo at a time. At least I hope I am. I missed last week. It was busy, had some travel plans, wasn't able to make a video. So this week we're going to pick up where we left off on getting to manual, and we're going to talk about landscape photos. So stick with me to the end of the video. I do have something to share with you. I'll give you a link to something that you might want to download. So fall's here. We're getting beautiful colors in the northern hemisphere in the United States. So let's talk about some settings and some things you might want to do to get some really cool photos of these fall colors. Let's start with 4 things to look at. We're going to look at aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and focal length. Starting with aperture, I'm going to start at f11. That way I have a lot in focus. I want something in the foreground, something in the background possibly. And at f11 or higher, you're going to get a good sharp foreground and a sharp background. So go with a high ISO. ISO, set it to 100 or 200. Yeah, if it's a little dark or it's at sunset, you might have to bump it up to 400, but keep it as low as possible. Shutter speed, I want you to adjust that to make the photo work. So it could be as slow as 1/50, or it could be as fast as 1/500. It just depends on the light conditions. So a couple other things to consider. I said the fourth thing, I gave you 4 things to look at, is the focal length. If it's landscape, a lot of times wide angle is what you want to go for. So if it's a big wide open area, you might need a wide angle. If you're getting a far away feature that you're trying to get, you might have a 200mm to pull that in. But the focal length, it just depends on the scene. But the 3 key things that you'll be modifying will be aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Shutter speed is the one you really want to use to tweak the most to get your right exposure, which means you'll probably need a tripod if you go to a slow shutter speed so you don't get camera shake. So we're probably going to break this into 2 videos. I got more to tell you, and I will give you a link to my cheat sheet that I told you about earlier. Here's my cheat sheet right here. I'm looking at my notes while I'm reading this. I'll give you a link to that. It gives you the information I just talked about. And it also has what I'll have in part 2 of this video. But just give you a little teaser for next week's video. I'm going to have 2 topics. One is called Make It Better, and the other one is Advanced Topics. Some things to do for advanced photographers. If you're just a beginner, don't be afraid to try them. If you're liking what you're learning, or if you learned a couple things here, please hit the subscribe and like button down below. And I will see you next week. This is Doug Hubbard for Practicing Photography, getting better one photo at a time, and I'll see you next week.